Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sarel van Grinnen, aka Mr. VG. And I am excited to go through this exam question with you guys. Although I do suspect we're going to split this video into two parts just to make it a bit shorter, a bit easier to handle. So when I look at this question in these two videos, we are going to look through this question. Now, if you look at this is 5, 10, 18 marks, which means it's about 20% of an exam paper that goes into one question. So what I would like you to do is hit the pause button, try the sum yourself, and then we are going to look at questions A to C in video 1, okay? And then we are going to look at question D to E in video 2. Let's start with question A. So once you've tried all of these sums, you go and look at the rest of this video. I've got a binomial multiplied by a binomial. In other words, a two-term multiplied by a two-term. So I'm going to FOIL out. I'm going to distribute out. So I'm going to multiply that 3x by the 4 and by the 3. Same with a negative 5. I'm going to multiply by the 4x and the positive 3. So then, ladies and gents, let's start. 3x times by 4x is 12x squared. 3x times by 3 is 9x. Then I'm going to distribute the negative 5 into the back, which gives me negative 20x minus 15. Adding the like terms, which are the x's, so that negative 9x and the positive 9x and the negative 20x, gives me a final answer of 12x squared minus 11 minus 15. Remember, the question is simplify, which means that, ladies and gents, is your answer. Don't go and try and put it back into brackets. That's factorizing, okay, not simplification. Last of our product, okay, you will see that I did a brownish kind of arrow there. Let me quickly explain what I mean by that brownish arrow. Let me first just get rid of this other arrow. Here we go. When you have a sum like that B sum, what the arrow basically signifies is I'm always going to go from the inside out. So I'm always going to start with the most inward bracket. So I'm going to start by working inside out. So I'm first of all going to distribute that negative 3k into the k plus 1. So the rest I'm just going to write out as is. You see, I didn't do anything with the 4k or the 5k squared. I just distributed the negative 3k in. Remember, I'm working inside out. I've got to simplify my brackets. So inside, in my brackets, I can add like terms. So that 3k, so 4k minus 3k is k, and I've got nothing, didn't do anything with a negative 3k squared. Step by step, I'm getting rid of the bracket. So what must I do with that negative in front of the square brackets? I'm going to multiply them in, and I'm left with positive 3k squared minus k, which then I have to go and add the like terms. So 5k squared plus 3k squared gives me 8k squared minus k. And there you've got the sum. So when you are getting rid of brackets, in other words, when you are multiplying out brackets, always work from the inside out. Let's have a look at the next sum. X squared minus 9 over x squared minus 2x minus 3 multiplied by x squared minus or x squared plus x over 3x. When I look at these sums, ladies and gentlemen, I am multiplying fractions with one another. which means I have to factorize. In other words, to place me in the position where I can maybe cancel out or divide away. I hate the word cancel out, but divide away. And remember, when we're talking about factorizing, it is about going through those 4 basic steps. If I look at those, x squared minus 9 is a difference of 2 squares. X squared minus 2x minus 3 looks like a trinomial. It's got 3 terms. X squared plus x, I can maybe see that I can take something out common. So what I'm going to do is step by step do those 3 different types of factorization. So x squared minus 9 is x minus 3 and x plus 3. X squared minus 2x minus 3, well, that's a trinomial that I'm going to factorize using that beautiful method. So x times x gives me x squared. A positive times by a negative gives me a negative. For 3, I only have 3 and 1, so maybe let's go 1 multiplied by 3. Cross multiplication gives me negative 3x plus 1x. If I add them up, does it give me negative 2x? Yes! So therefore, I'm going to put it in my sum. Next up, I've got the highest common factor in the numerator, which is x. Remember, if I take out x out of x, I'm left with 1. And then that poor little 3x that I didn't do anything with. Let's look if there are things that can divide away. First of all, x minus 3 and x minus 3 can divide away. Woo! Then x plus 1 and x plus 1 can divide away because it's a numerator and a denominator. Next up, that x and that x can divide away. So what am I left with in the numerators? I'm left with an x plus 3. In the denominators, I'm only left with that 3. And there, ladies and gents, you've done that sum. In our next video, in video 2 of this exam practice, remember, we are then going to work through those 2 addition of fraction sums. I wanted to keep it for a separate video because otherwise this video is just going to be too long. So this is Mr. VG signing out. I'm looking forward to having you with our next video. Keep well. Cheers.